Colorado teachers are being trained with firearms to potentially be armed at schools. Now, there is a 3-day course being offered to certain teachers in Colorado, which consists of firearms and medical training, and it was launched this last Tuesday in Weld County. The course is being provided by a group called FASTER, the Faculty Administrator Safety Training and Emergency Response Group. And it was set up by parents to basically account for the fact that during a school shooting, if the teachers are not armed, they can't fight back, and it's called a soft target. Now, there are 2 schools of thought coming out of this. One is teachers should be armed because if an armed person shows up, teachers should be able to neutralize the threat. And the other side is, well, now we have a ton of guns at schools. Is this actually making people safer? What do you guys think?
3 days training. Yeah. Please tell me how anyone who has never had any kind of firearm or emergency training can learn how to save a whole school in 3 days. 3 days.
I mean, you can, unless you're Jason Statham or right. or The Rock.
Teachers are normal people. Like I could be teachers are normal people. For 3 days of training, not only how to shoot a gun, how to not shoot students and shoot who your target is, the emotional stress of an emergency situation.
Yeah.
Right, but these people, you make great points. And again, it's like more guns in schools is an issue I had when I read this as well, when I heard about this, because I mean, you have more of an opportunity for a potentially tragic accident to happen with the children. But that said though, if a person's volunteering, because they're volunteering to carry the gun, to be trained, and if they want to do that, I say let them. I think that if I don't have young children, but I have a nephew who goes to school, and I would be happy for a teacher to protect him in the event that something like a Sandy Hook happens, right. Or and I think, and it's not like these guns are going to be in cubby holes in the classroom just hanging out. With the training, I'm sure they'll get proper indoctrination of how to handle these guns, where to put them.
3 days, proper. Well, I mean, 3 days.
But you can learn a lot in 3 days. I mean, we're saying, oh my God, 3 days is is only 72 hours, but you can learn a lot, especially if you're wanting and have the willingness to do that.
Okay. Have you ever shot a gun before?
I have, and there's also going to be a vetting process.
I can guarantee you, I could not hit any target after 3 days of just doing it, especially a moving one in a stressful situation.
Right? No, I get it.
No, I don't think so.
We cover all the time police with a lot of training who end up shooting the wrong person for not being provoked. Like it is a real issue, and especially have you ever teachers want to shoot their kids all the time.
Well, that was the other issue too. Just all these guns floating around.
Well, but I think,
let's hear from Grace, because you almost chimed in a couple times.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so passionate over this.
So I'm hearing a lot of these taglines for people that are pro-gun, which is when the seconds count, police are minutes away, or I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. All that stuff.
Wow.
But here's the thing with this is that they say explicitly that the FASTER program will not negate security and law enforcement on the premises. So why are we arming teachers? Because if they're saying that you should still have law enforcement and regular security operatives on your campus, if that's something that you already had, why are you arming more teachers? And also about learning things in 3 days. I was a first responder when I was in college. It's how I paid for stuff, and I learned that training in about 48 hours that we learned it, and I was very open and very wanting to learn how to save these lives and how you set a wound and all that stuff, and I retained it for the whole time that I was working there, campus rec. That's what's important. But I would not know now. It doesn't stick with you, and it's one of those smash learning techniques where it's like when my girlfriend was studying for the bar. You study your ass off, you take the bar, and then you walk out in a blackout. Like I don't know what just happened. And I have a feeling that the programs like this, these smash learning, where you learn something and you absorb it for 48, 72 hours, or however, even months at a time, and then you do it, and then it's done.
Right.
It's not how you retain information, so that's what I'm worried about. If they already have security on the premises, why do you need to arm teachers?
So that's a priority.
I agree.
But let's say we had a week-long recurring series of training sessions that teachers are. So let's say we could train them enough. There's guns in cabinets at schools. There's guns on teachers at schools. These are teachers who themselves have volunteered to carry guns. So there's an opt-in bias of I'm the kind of person who would do this. And then at schools all the time, kids are going places they're not supposed to.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Grace, the question was, well, if there's security on campus and there's these people to facilitate safety for the students, why do we need teachers to carry guns? Well, I can only speak from the schools I went to in high school, and the security was some older guy, probably in his late 50s, that just walked around as a deterrent, not as an actual person who is physically able.
But you're also describing a lot of teachers too.
But here's the thing though: these people are choosing to partake in this. So it's like if I'm going to become a fireman, I know the rigorous physical requirement that I have to possess in order to become said job profession, right? So I'm gathering, and this is all.
They will be tested mentally and physically.
I mean, they're vetted. I'm sure they're going to be vetted heavily for this to make sure that they're able to perform the job. I just feel that our child's safety, to me, my nephew's or my future child's safety is of the utmost importance. And if Colorado wants to do their due diligence of having more security to protect my child in the event of a Columbine, of a Sandy Hook, then goddamn it, sign them up.
Columbine, Colorado. Where the discussion about mass shootings at schools started in Colorado.
Yep.
And while this is one program, there are other programs around the country, Ohio, Pennsylvania, that are starting to do these kinds of initiatives. We'll see. But man, the argument is I want to keep this place safer. And then if you get into an argument of, I really like the point of let's have more security, whose job it is to do that. So it's not just like, whether they happen to walk into the class with the gun. Now I have to remember what class has a gun that we can go to. That's difficult. I think that then you're in a discussion of like, okay, so let's take dollars away from the education of a school and put it toward the security of a school. That's a different discussion.
And I don't think necessarily that programs like this are bad. I just think that they need to be more comprehensive, and it's the 3-day program that I'm hesitant on. I think what you propose is, as far as like if there was a weekly training that you could opt in on, and this was something that you were interested in learning, that's something that we can talk about. But that's not the program we're talking about. We're talking about a 3-day thing that's going down, and I don't know if I would trust anyone that had training for 3 days with a firearm around kids.
That was my point exactly. I also when we talk about safety, nobody likes to throw out there, well, let's just have less guns. That's where my mind goes. We want safety, less guns equals less crimes. But I feel like we're adding more guns. Like how many teachers are going to have guns?
Well, I mean, the counter argument is, if I have a gun and you have a gun,
well, if nobody had guns,
right? Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm really
but I do like
hard on
in
that.
the logic of this when they say they're testing people mentally and physically. All right, I would, if you're willing to give that rubric in giving guns to teachers, why don't we give that rubric to giving guns to anyone?
Yes.
And so now we're negotiating here, and that's really nice.
And the real shittiness to all of this is that the events that happen that require us to even take these measures. That's the real shittiness of this whole gun conversation.